Do you snoop in your significant other's cell phone? Well, in the 2010 film, Why Did I Get Married Too? That's exactly what Angela did to her husband, Marcus. But even more scandalous is the question of whether Angela and her friend Sheila's ex-husband, Mike, ever had a romantic past together. Go to the comments and tell us what you think, and join us as we discuss this and more.
I'm Heit.
And I'm Cheri.
And you've discovered Axiom Amnesia.
We want to thank all of the supporters who helped to make this video possible. If you want your name to appear alongside these contributors, make a one-time donation via Cash App, or you can head on over to patreon.com/axiomamnesia to enjoy all of the benefits of becoming a monthly subscriber.
Why? Your book? He cheated, so now what?
Right. So the ladies are in there talking, and then they start to discuss
He cheated, so now what?
Patricia's new book, Craziness, right? And so Angela is explaining how in the book, Patricia's like, oh, I don't have his password, talking about her husband, because I trust him.
I don't have the password to my husband's cell phone. I trust him.
So Angela interprets this as, well, if I don't trust him, then I should have his password.
So I took that to mean that if I don't trust him, then I should have it.
Now, the whole thing is supposed to be that it's absurd that Angela thinks this. But if you're logicking, why isn't that logical?
Why isn't it logical? Because it's if. It wasn't an if.
I don't have his password because I trust him. So Angela says, since I don't trust him.
Yeah.
So Angela wants to assume that the reverse
You
is
don't
true.
have his password because you don't trust him. That could be the case.
So Angela gets on this whole thing, right? Because she's like, she obviously doesn't trust Marcus, her husband. So she's like, I should have the password. And of course, she asks him for the password, and he does his usual, know what I'm saying, and tells her lies and whatever to keep her off of his phone because he don't want her to have the password.
Yeah.
And Angela wants the password. The other ladies in the room go around and talk about how, oh, I have his password. That's what Terry Bob's wife says, because, he gave it to her and, they go in each other's phones. We talked about this in more detail in the video that we did on Sheila and Troy about this whole password thing. So we won't rehash that conversation. But suffice to say that depending on the relationship, like I don't see anything wrong with having a password.
Mm.
And these days, there are so many freaking passwords. Like there's a password to log into your email, their password. Like, how do you even keep up with it? Okay, y'all.
Password manager.
Heit forgets his passwords a lot if he makes any passwords that are, off the beaten path. And it's always like, oh, okay, I got to log into this. And then he'll always have to reset the password.
Let me tell you what all these, I guess it's the security folks for the software engineers. But what they're really doing, software makers, they're saying that you cannot reuse a password. So it's saving all of your passwords. And then you can't reuse a password that you've already used. So if you use any combination of the same passwords, then you're going to run out of passwords. And then it's, hey, let me add some more symbols somewhere in this password.
I don't know. Like maybe it has to be like a social security number. Not the password is your social security number, but you know how a social security number is made up of certain things. Like it tells the region where you were born, like the first 3 digits. And
yeah,
I don't know, the second 2 digits tell something, right? So maybe you have to come up with something like the first one is always a certain thing. The second one is always something else. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there. Like the first one is always a color. The second one is always,
but don't ever forget it because then you're going to have to change it. And I had to add a space. There was like, you got to have a space in your password.
What?
Like what in the world? I'm never going to remember this.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. But back to the idea of passwords and like, what's the word? Trust. It's weird because you brought up something the last time we were talking about this because I was mentioning, we were talking about that, we do have each other's phone pad. Well, you can put your thumbprint in and, get in each other's phones, but like we're not running through each other's phones. And you brought up the point about how it is, how like giving a person access like that is trusting because you're trusting them not to just be a freaking snoop, through things. Not that you're, necessarily doing anything, but you know what I'm saying.
Or whatever else. So we know that relationships don't work out, right? And the vindictive things people do at the end of a relationship. So you have to even trust that if it doesn't work out, that everything is just going to be cordial and fine.
Well, and it's kind of like, it reminds me of like people who tell each other secrets. Back to this movie, right? How Mike just busted everybody's secrets out at the table at the last in the last movie. And I mean, deep secrets that could have shattered their marriages type of secrets, right? And it's like, if you're a longtime friend with somebody and they, knew your secrets, and then you guys, your friendship breaks up and you're not friends anymore. Like, should you expect that all your business is going to be out on the town? And a lot of people will do that, but I don't know. I think that's dirty.
Yeah.
Real dirty.
What is the genre of this film? If I look
it a romantic comedy?
It says it's a comedy drama, so I guess it's a romantic comedy, but it seems that Angela and Marcus are just the comedy. Everyone else is just drama. So they serve as just the comedy of the movie. And I guess in this one, Terry is trying to be funny, but other than that, it's just that couple is the comedy for the film.
Well, and I'm trying to think of any other filmmaker I know who makes movies where where things like we know have happened in this movie happen, and very dramatic stuff, but it's really juxtaposed against comedy. Now, I don't know. There's this one movie called Little Miss Sunshine, but that was mostly comedy and one bad thing happening, right? This is a movie where every couple has a traumatic thing occur in this film, but yet you got all this comedy going on. I don't know. Maybe it's something that, and y'all have seen a lot of films. Tell us in the comments if you can think of a movie that is I'm a comedy, but I'm also a drama. It's I'm going to combine Coming to America and The Color Purple.
It's where it's separate. You have just the storylines that are in it. That's drama. And then you got this separate thing over here. That's comedy. I think it's trying to be two movies.
And I think a lot of dramas, you can have funny things that happen in a drama, right? But not where it's punchline after punchline. You look at what the character Terry played by Tyler Perry, where you look at him, it's punchline after punch. When he's on the screen, he's telling joke after joke after joke in the middle of all of this stuff. Yeah, just like Terdia. We talked about that when we covered Terry and Diane in the last movie, which, by the way, you can go watch if you haven't seen it.
Then maybe this is Tyler Perry having you eat your vegetables. I want to teach you about marriage and relationships and all of this, but I need to put Angela and Marcus in here.
Yeah.
So that you'll watch it.
Yeah. And then, and maybe to give everybody something to relate to, right? Relating to all the different stuff, infidelity, suspected infidelity, folks breaking up, getting with a new partner, and dealing with the threesome of the new partner and the old partner, and baby mamas, and everything that happens in this film. So yeah, that could be it. So the girls are all still sitting around talking. And do you think it's wrong for Angela to want his password? That's my question. In the comments, tell us that. Heit, what do you think?
To want it for these reasons, yes. I think it is wrong. Because the only reason she wanted, she's like, I think he's cheating and I just want your password so that I can confirm it, basically.
Right. And, a lot of people argued in the last video where we were talking about how Angela was the one who saw that Mike was cheating with Trina, and her not saying anything. And it was so that she could get the proof, and so he couldn't wiggle his way out of it and all of this and that. Now, that wasn't her marriage at that point. But also they said the same thing about why she didn't tell that she had an STD that she'd gotten from somebody. So she lets her husband have this STD and be running around with the STD and didn't tell him, she's playing with his health. And a lot of you justified it by saying that, well, she had to be able to all the way catch him and she couldn't catch him. So I'm for the sake of catching him, you gonna risk somebody's health? Really?
But see, part of it too is I think it's a lot of people base it on not actually being in I guess you could call it a committed relationship. So the relationship is with a person who you kind of really don't know. So that you really don't care about their well-being or stuff, and you play all these games back and forth, right? But even if, let's say, he was cheating, there's still a relationship of a marriage, which I look at as different. So even coming out of it and what the consequences are going to be is probably going to be different. So whether or not he's cheating or allowing him to just have this disease and all kind of stuff, it's just very troubling.
Yeah. And then my next question is, all right, here's my deal. So let's say she gets the password. She looks through the phone and she finds some, because Angela gonna find something, right? There'll be something that she feels is cheating because Angela thinks everything is cheating. But let's say that there is confirmed evidence that he has cheated. What is Angela gonna do? Is she gonna leave him? Do y'all think? Go to the comments. Tell us if Angela found that he was cheating, would she leave Marcus? So why is she so wanting to know if he's cheating? Like, why are you so obsessed with this? Because he was cheating in the past. He has cheated with his baby's mama and probably other people too, right? So what is the obsession with finding out if this man is cheating when she's already shown she ain't going nowhere?
Man.
She's not going to do anything with that information other than harass him with it.
Dopamine.
What?
It's just what you're addicted to, right?
You just have to, yeah.
There's these chemicals in your brain and causes you to do these things. And I'm just like being obsessed with something like that is you're getting something out of it, whether positive or negative, based on, the chemicals of your brain.
Well, let me tell you something. The female wisdom of the ages, because I know a lot of y'all out there don't seem like you really have any aunties or grandmas or anything like that.
Bruh.
And since some of y'all think we old anyway, I'll go ahead and I will be the vessel through which I pass down some of the female ancestral wisdom on such things. Now, some of y'all gonna be like, oh no, your grandma wasn't happy and this and that. But here's the thing. What are you going to do? And this is for any type of information, not just, cheating and all that. When you're looking for information, what are you planning to do with that information? You got to know that going in, because in this case, she finds out that he's cheating. She knows she's not leaving. She's not busting up their household. So now you're making yourself completely miserable. Now, some people say, well, I need to know the truth. Well, she already know the truth. You may not know the particulars of that truth in that moment, but you already know the truth. Now,
yeah, if you just know, if you like, I know he's cheating, then all right. So
now, but there are some women who are like, when I find out, his butt is getting served with papers that same day. So I'm doing this because I need to know for myself whether or not I'm moving forward with this relationship. To me, that's a completely different situation. And, in that case, I would say, find out whatever information you need to find out so that you can move forward. But here's the thing. What if whether you snoop or do whatever, you get a private agent or, because people do crazy stuff, right? To find out, is this person cheating? What if you find out that they're not cheating?
Do you tell them?
Do you tell them that you had such little confidence in them and the situation?
No, because then they're not going to trust you. It's just
what if they
bad.
find out? Like, there's so many destructive things that can happen.
Yeah, but the whole thing is
things.
about trust, and you know that the person's not going to trust you. So then you don't reveal that you distrusted them and done this thing and didn't find anything.
And from so that brings me back to the beginning thing. Like, okay, what is the password going to do for you though? Like in terms of Angela's purposes of it, because she just wants to go through his things and snoop through his things and invade his privacy. What is it going to do? And I would say the same thing if he wanted her password, because you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if the reason Terry, Dr. Bob, gave his password was so he could be up in Diane's business. Now, we'll get to their conversation later because, Diane was Diane was on the verge or had fallen off the cliff in some areas of that relationship. But the point is that I don't think it's limited to just women who want to maybe snoop and do all of that. But if you're going to be snooping, like, what you going to do about it? That's the question you need to be answering before up front and foremost with anything, but that's my soapbox of a little tidbit of information that had been passed to me. So they're all sitting around talking and everything, and they're looking at Angela like she's crazy because she wants this password. They know Angela is out there, and I don't think anybody, I don't know, I go back to the fact that, are y'all real friends? Because I just feel like you don't have the guts to say the things to each other that really need to be said. you know. And in this case, it would be like, girl, look, are you leaving your man? Because if I'm Angela's friend, I'll be like, look, what you gonna do with that password? But make yourself crazy and miserable. She already drinking and blaming it on her situation with him. So, you know, I don't know. But they sit around and do their usual surface mess. And she's left looking crazy.
Ooh, what's going on in here?
Oh, hell no, Mike. What are you doing here?
So the next thing we know, Mike busts in and crashes the party. He's not supposed to be there, but he claims that he's got part of the timeshare, blah, 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 and he's there to share time.
Look, I own part of a timeshare. I'm here to have a good time.
And so he has come to the singles retreat. We talk about this in detail in the video that we did on Sheila and Mike and Troy. So we won't rehash that whole thing, but suffice to say, the math wasn't mathing on the whole timeshare excuse for him being there.
But Mike and Angela go back and forth as usual, and that's what happens. But I think that Angela and Mike have something going on.
What you mean?
That they're doing stuff with each other.
Shut up.
So
oh my gosh.
If you look at
no, listen, this is a breakdown of the movie. This is not for you to make a fan theory about them.
So Angela and Marcus, their relationship, all they do is argue back and forth, right? But Angela, with the other men, it isn't like that. But Angela and Mike certainly is the same relationship that she has with Marcus. That is the way she deals with her
sexual partner. Listen, y'all, do y'all hear this? Y'all, if you think that maybe back in the day at some point, Angela and Mike in college, you know, the one late night, you know, Mike was a hoe anyway, and Angela might have had a few too many to drink. Do you think that maybe they had done something and nobody knows, and that this is the secret that Tyler Perry has hidden as an Easter egg within his already tumultuous, crazy story?
Part 3, Tyler.
Does Heit have a point? Actually, you know what? I'm laughing at you, but seriously, that is a good observation. That relationship is very similar, except we just don't see them actually make up on screen.
Yeah, and could it be that in part 1 she was kind of jealous that he was with Trina?
Ooh, that's why she hated Trina so much.
Bruh.
Oh, y'all, listen.
Do we just need a whole fan theory on that?
We can explore that whole thing. But just say you heard it first here, that Angela and Mike might have had a thing going on at some point. That's a really good observation, though. It never occurred to me that was the situation. But you're right. Ooh, and how would Marcus feel about that?
We're getting real crazy up in here.
Okay, let me stop, because that's just a whole separate video.
It is.
We gonna make that video. We gonna make that video.
So if you made it this far into this video, type password manager in the comments so we'll know you're one of the real ones who stick around to the end.
And be sure to check out the video that's on the screen right now.